Welcome into another episode of the Immigrant Podcast. I'm your boy Nikolai Hill. Appreciate you logging on for another episode today. I think we're on number 43. I appreciate y'all tuning in, man. So look, I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna say it. I think Luis Enrique and Antonio Conte are just as good a managers as Pep Guardiola is. And if you don't know those names, I'm talking about some of the icons of the European soccer game and football game in general, which of course, I like to remind everybody else that's what they call it everywhere else in the world. So that was my argument coming into today, and I would like for anybody like is tuning in. I'm getting a lot of comments in the comment section, so I love that. Thanks guys for tuning in and subscribing and continue to subscribe. I really do appreciate everybody subscribing lately to the podcast and tuning into my podcast. But so that's why I'm asking the question today. Getting a lot of messages, getting a lot of input, and I want more. And I think this is a good topic. So we're talking about European heavyweights, whether they're the soccer teams or the coaches. And I'm talking about the coaches today. Pep Guardiola, he's been hailed as the manager of the decade. Maybe more than that. He has had his time at Barcelona, had his time at Bayern Munich, and now he's had his time in Manchester City, and he's been extremely successful. If I'm not mistaken, he's done probably double-digit trophies just by winning the domestic part of the league in the last 15 years. I mean, if you combine Barcelona, Bayern Munich, and the 6-5-4 that I don't know what he has with Manchester City. So he's a successful manager. But the argument that I'm making is that he's needed a lot of financial input from ownership or the base or the owners of these fantastically great football teams to be this successful. And the backing, what I'm talking about, we're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars. If you take Manchester City alone, he spent $1 billion in the last 3 years. So I might have to put that up. You can look that up and chime in the messages. So over the last few years, he spent $1 billion. And last year they didn't win a championship. The year before that, they won the Champions League and the league. So it's not like they're not performing and he's not performing with the talent he's been provided. That talent he's been given by this, of course, Saudi ownership that he has for Manchester City now. Previous to that, ownership of the Catalan Giants, Barcelona, and then, of course, the number one team in Germany perennially for 100 years. Literally what it is. And nobody spends like Bayern Munich in in that country. And then I'll name out some of the talent he's had over the years. We're talking about the Messis, the Neymars, the Xavis, the Iniestas. We talk about Ribery, you know, just the number of great Bayern Munich greats that have passed through there, like the past few years, Lewandowski. And then now, he's going through another rich phase where he's been coaching guys like Sergio Aguero and the likes of now Erling Haaland. And I'm just talking about the strikers. I haven't even mentioned the midfielders and the present the Ballon d'Or winner that he has in midfield. They're constantly churning over that have made this club, the best team in England for the last decade. But I would like to counteract or counter that argument about him being the best coach because I think there are two managers out there who have been equally brilliant. They haven't had the same kind of support financially from the clubs. Not that they haven't been able to spend on big players or spend on primetime talent. We're talking about Paris Saint-Germain, PSG, who's in the FIFA World Cup Club Cup final right now, or Napoli, who just won their domestic league in Serie A in Italy, and another trophy to go along with that domestically in that country as well. And they performed also very well in the Champions League. And since Antonio Conte has been the manager, he's just transformed that entire club, that franchise, into a winning franchise. And that's what he did when was with Chelsea that 1 year. To date, he was with the Tottenham Hotspurs for maybe a year and a half, and it's the highest they've finished in the league since then, and no one has accomplished that since he's left. Even though they won a trophy this year, Tottenham finished 15th in the EPL, and that's something that we have to tell people. So the level of teams in that competition that are getting beaten by a 15th place Tottenham team says enough. So my argument is that Antonio Conte and Luis Enrique have given us more for less, more bang for your buck than Pep Guardiola. Now, the accomplishments and the resume says that, PSG winning the title this year, PSG constantly winning the title, him losing players like Messi and Mbappe and Neymar, and actually the team getting better. That has to do with coaching and management. And he had a plan. The plan was clearly outlined in the French media, and he said it. And what he said came to fruition with a 40-goal scorer in Mbappe leaving the team, and instead having 3, 4, 5 guys that is in double digits, and maybe one scoring 20. And that's the distribution is always better for a team and for the players' mindset overall when everybody's scoring goals. And that's what Luis Enrique has brought to the PSG. They haven't won this trophy in 30 plus years. This is not what the competition was called then. So this has been a long time coming, and PSG have been one of the dominant teams in Europe forever. And same goes for Napoli, who has been a constant in the Serie A, but they haven't gotten the manager, and the manager hasn't been able to get the best out of the players until now. So my vote is for Luis Enrique and Antonio Conte to be right there, being mentioned in the same breaths as Pep Guardiola. I know some people will agree with me already. I know those people. I've spoken with them. But the majority maybe lack the knowledge about the world of football, the world of soccer. And I know we got these people who are Manchester City fans who they're not really the ultimate soccer watchers, football watchers, but they're falling in because they're teams that are winning and they have the jerseys. So, but for my footballistas, hit me and get me in the comment section and tell me what you think about what I said today. It's your boy Nikolai Hill for another episode of the podcast. Take it easy.